Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Smashy Business Show. Today is Tuesday, 1st July 2025. Q2 has ended, H1 has ended, Q3 has started, and H2 has started. Very complicated, but this is what is happening. Half of the year is gone, and I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Ward Ahmed, and we've got a packed show for you today. Firstly, this is the biggest news of the day. His Highness Sheikh Hamdan has announced that Dubai has successfully conducted its first air taxi test flight. Secondly, Emaar by Mohammed Al Abbar has been named the world's fastest growing real estate brand with a $4 billion valuation. And in this new story, Saudi unemployment has gone to a record low as women are driving workforce gains in the kingdom. And finally, we're going to be telling you about how Norway's KLP pension fund has blacklisted firms supplying Israeli military to allow Israel to continue the war in Gaza.
Yeah, first story, very important story. Dubai has completed the region's first successful test flight. Not only a test flight of a flying taxi developed by California-based Joby Aviation. We've heard this name over and over again throughout the years since the idea was even at the idea stage, and now it's becoming a reality. If you're watching, you can see the taxi actually flying over the deserts of Dubai. And the all-electric aircraft, no petrol, no fuel, so very sustainable, took off from the Jetman helipad in Margham and completed several loops across the desert. The test flight marks a major step in Dubai's plan to launch commercial air taxi services by the first half of 2026.
The vehicle can carry 4 passengers and a pilot, reach speeds of up to 320 kilometers per hour, and support a payload of 450 kilograms. It's also 100 times quieter than traditional helicopters, making it ideal for urban mobility. Now, officials say a 12-minute journey from DXB to Palm Jumeirah could replace a 45-minute car trip.
And Crown Prince of Dubai, Sheikh Hamdan, called the launch a new leap in sustainable urban mobility, supporting Dubai's goals in smart infrastructure and eco-friendly transport. Matar Al-Tayer of Dubai's RTA, he's the head of RTA, said the service will integrate with existing mobility networks, including e-scooters and metro links.
Now, passengers will book rides via the Joby app with fares expected to match high-end ride-hailing rates. So charging takes just 8 to 10 minutes, allowing rapid turnaround and continuous operations. So fleet expansion and routes to Marina, downtown, and the Palm are already in the pipeline.
And Joby is also in talks to expand its aerial services across other Emirates. Meanwhile, Archer Aviation is planning a parallel launch in Abu Dhabi by early 2026, showing that the UAE is racing ahead in next-gen mobility.
By the way, Majid, you know that literally yesterday, Joby, which is a US-based company, their shares climbed up by over 10%.
Thanks to Dubai. They should everyone should thank the UAE and Dubai eventually, because whatever they're trying to do here, the government is so supportive. The infrastructure is very supportive. That's the main point, that usually you go to countries and the infrastructure is so haphazard that you can't fly your taxis there. But here, the infrastructure is so nice that they can actually do it. And it's a very nice news. I think whenever the reports came about for these, I think the trips were like 300 to 400 per ride from one end to the other end. But it's going to connect 4 areas in Dubai for now. Eventually, they will increase the obviously stations and the vertiports, as they're called. There's not going to be metro stations or anything. It's going to be vertiports.
But I'm really curious about the fact, will everyone be able to afford these flying taxis?
I don't think so. It's affordability for now. It's convenience for now, and you'll pay for the convenience that you get. Like your travel time from Dubai airport to Marina and all this will be cut down by nearly 30 minutes. So it's a 45-minute ride without traffic. With traffic, it's nearly 1 hour. So with that, I think 15-minute ride will be for I think in the start for business people, for people who can afford it. It's like Dubai has all the luxury options and then all the affordable options. This will start as a luxury option. But obviously when operations expand and they get more vertiports and build more, the prices may come down. Maybe they'll include halfway rides, or maybe it becomes a tourist attraction only for the fact that people just want to sit in it. It will be one of that
That is
also.
a
Yeah.
really interesting point. And speaking of new attractions, the company that is in charge of the biggest attractions in the UAE is Emaar, and they have just been named the world's fastest growing real estate brand. So that's according to Brand Finance's latest real estate services 2025 report, which tracks global brand performance across the sector.
And Emar's brand value surged 58% year on year to reach $4 billion, a jump that moved the company up 6 places to fourth in the global rankings. Since 2021, Emar's brand value has more than tripled, rising from $1.5 billion to an overall increase of 167%.
So the report credits Dubai's booming real estate sector and Emar's successful rollout of mega developments such as the Valley, Dubai Hills Estate, Dubai South, and the Oasis. Now, these large-scale projects have played a key role in driving investor interest in brand strength.
And their recognition also reinforces Dubai's global real estate appeal. Obviously, Emaar and Dubai are synonymous and cements Emar's role as a flagship developer shaping the Emirates' future skyline. The company's strong brand momentum reflects both domestic growth and international visibility.
So looking ahead, Emaar is expected to build on its upward trajectory with more strategic launches across Dubai. So if growth continues at this pace, analysts believe Emaar could break into the top 3 of Brand Finance's global rankings by 2026.
And it's very important that Emaar grows because, as we said, Dubai and Emaar are nearly the same name now. You talk about Dubai, you can't, and if you talk about Dubai real estate, you can't miss Emaar. We have so many other players. We have Bengati, which is trying to match up the grandeur of Emaar. But again, Emaar will always be there. It's the first mover advantage. They were the first ones to build such grand, and Burj Khalifa is by Emaar, so why not? So I think it's going to be good. Hopefully, they get. I hope in 2026 they're the top brand in the world, not at the 4th place, but they've climbed up a lot. It's from 1.5 billion brand value, 4 billion. It's not a small feat.
And just very recently, they launched that app. And I
Yeah.
remember Majid covered the story. Do you remember its name?
Sorry, my keyboard switched to Arabic, but I remember it was something called Vion.
Yes.
So yeah, now you can sell and buy Emaar properties, used properties, not the new one, through that app. So basically, they're speeding up the process of acquiring an Emaar property. So they're doing a lot of things, and I think it clearly shows why they're going up because they have done so much. They're one of the biggest flagship product on DFM also. So they're actually, it's not just Dubai, they affect the DFM also. If Emaar shares go down, 100% the DFM that day goes into red. So they're a very big giant mammoth that are in Dubai, and their brand value going up, good for Dubai, good for them.
And in a completely new change, Saudi Arabia's unemployment rate has hit a historic low. So new data from the General Authority for Statistics shows overall unemployment dropped to just 2.8% in the first quarter of 2025, down 0.7 percentage points year on year.
And among Saudi nationals, the unemployment rate also reached a record low of 6.3%. But the biggest driver of the improvement came from Saudi women. Salute to you, whose unemployment rate dropped sharply by 3.7 percentage points to 10.5%, the largest decline across all groups.
So the employment to population ratio rose to 66.3%, up from 63.7% Q1 last year, reflecting broader labor market gains. So youth female participation also saw a notable increase. Labor force participation among young Saudi women aged 15 to 24 reached 18.4%, even as participation among young men declined.
And the figures highlight the growing impact of Vision 2030 reforms, particularly efforts to increase women's participation in the workforce. The use of digital platforms like Jadarat and direct employer applications suggest a more proactive and modernized job-seeking environment in Saudi Arabia.
So Saudi Arabia technically has already surpassed its target of reducing national unemployment to 7% and now aims to reach 5% by 2030. So future policy will likely focus on retaining women in the workforce and addressing declining youth male participation. So positioning the kingdom as a regional model for labor reform. I think that when I take a look at this story, Majid, women that come to mind immediately are, Princess Rima, Saudi Arabia's U.S. ambassador, and we also have Lubna Alayem, who just very recently came out and said that Saudi Arabia has already met its 2030 target for women. But I think for me, as a woman myself, when I think of this, I feel that as women we will make that advancement when it does not become a woman percentages topic.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, Majid?
Yeah.
Because if you, like something that I noticed, for example, where there's like a huge disparity between men and women, it's in consultancy.
Yeah.
So when they go into consultancy firms, Majid, the amount of women and men is 50%. It's actually 50-50.
Nice.
But then when they actually reach partner level, which is every consultant's dream, it's actually 12 men to 1 woman out of those 13 partners. And then guess what actually ends up happening? When all of these consultancy firms that are basically kind of like a boys' club, when they conduct interviews with new people that they want to onboard, you know that your final interview stage is with the partners?
Oh.
And you could imagine how that goes when there's like five men that are going to interview a woman. So the likely chance of her getting the role does actually go down.
Yeah.
So I think for me, whenever I'm reading these reports, like just on a general stance about, women, men in the workforce, it will become something when a topic is not just big because it's a woman that is doing it. Does that make sense? When it does actually become a norm.
Normal. But there's a woman at a C-level or a CEO position or a high-end position becoming a partner. So we'll talk about the upper half. I recently saw an example of the lower half. My wife was in Saudi Arabia for 2 days, and when she was taking the taxi, the Uber, not the taxi, Uber is specifically for Saudis. No one else can drive Ubers in Saudi Arabia, according to law now. Only Saudis can drive it. So my wife's driver was a woman. So I was like, she put up a story about it, and I was like, okay, this shows you that it's not at the C level or the executive level or the highest level only. It's also down to the lowest level where women are going to the factories and they're participating in admin. Even at the workforce level, they are participating more. So that makes up such a nice combination of not only that we see women going towards top roles, they're ready to contribute in the middle management roles and the lower management roles, and even as a worker. So that is why I think this is such a huge drop. They were like 13 or 14% unemployment, and now it's 10.7%. So this shows you that they are more contributing. Remember Al Walid bin Talal's recent interview with Forbes. The Forbes lady, she asked a very nice question that why do you have so many women in your company? And he was like, it's not now. Since the time I founded the company and after I became a known face, 4 or 5 years into the business, my policy from day one was that I want equal participation of women in my company. And he had a very nice argument attached with it. He said that the point is that you don't want to keep, even if you say 50-50%, obviously the dynamics of the demographics are different. But he says 50% of the workforce, you can't just let them sit in the house because they're not in the bad connotation of burden, but he's like, they're there sitting at home. So they're using the infrastructure. They're using everything that a country has to offer. So why not bring them into the workforce and make them a useful, contributing citizen? That was his science. And I was like, this man was decades in front of how Saudi Arabia thought. And everyone thought about this.
That is a very interesting way to think of things.
Everyone, when we talked about Saudi Arabia 5 or 10 years ago, before PIF became a monster and Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman came into power and women were allowed to drive and everything, everyone thought the Saudi women are just staying at home. They're not allowed to work. It's a conservative society. Even at that time, women were working. And Lubna Olayan is one of the examples. She is a veteran of the business world. She never came forward when Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman came. She precedes Mohammed bin Salman.
But like Majid, see, like that's my point. I feel
Yeah.
like women right now, they're doing more than just being useful. They are completely leading the industry. You have Sarah Hamouda,
Yeah.
the founder of Dubai Viral Chocolate. She did not just make a product, she made a global phenomenon. Then you have Anam Khalid, the co-founder of Squat Wolf.
Yeah.
And you know, I for me their story is so special, husband and wife. And when I'm reading through their LinkedIn, like this is somebody who has such, you know, acute business perspective that she does bring to the business. Another one, Huda Lawati, you know, the Ammani who is leading the first private equity firm in the region. But this is what I mean though. When I read the stories about these women, I want the narrative to change in the sense of I don't want to read Huda Al-Lawati is leading the first
Women-led
female-founded
fund.
equity private
Yeah.
firm in the Middle East. I want it to be special because it's a new firm and it's a
Yeah.
big story. Because if you notice, when we write about all these men, even these startup founders who just appear out of, you know, thin air,
They
it's
don't
like,
say first male
it's like
led
it's
this,
like
this.
it's like it's cool because it's a new company and
Yeah.
it's a new firm. It's not cool because it's led by a man. Do you understand what I'm
I
saying?
think the idea that there is novelty in women led this, women led that,
There
women
is
founded.
novelty, and I completely agree. We need to acknowledge that growth.
That novelty, the thing that you're talking about, will go away once it becomes more mainstream. So the more women come forward with their funds, with their entrepreneurship ventures, with their businesses, with their ideas, the more they come, the more this language that we use that, oh, women led this, women founded, women this, that language will start going away. So we need more women. That's the main point. The more they come into the workforce, as we see in this report, the more it will become normal for people to know, okay, it's a women-led foundation, but that's not the USP of this story or this. The idea, what she brought is the story. So it will take some time, but it will happen for sure because the world is
think
moving
that
forward and
it's-
Saudi Arabia is moving forward. Yeah.
I think that it's already happened. And for our final topic today, Norway's largest private pension fund, KLP, has blacklisted two major defense companies over their ties to Israel's military operations in Gaza. So the fund basically announced that divestments from US-based Oshkosh Cooperation and Germany's ThyssenKrupp AG, citing ethical violations.
And the move follows a 2023 United Nations report linking both companies' weapon supplies to Israeli military actions in Gaza, which is a genocide. Before the divestment, KLP held approximately $1.8 million in Oshkosh and $1 million in ThyssenKrupp. That's the stake that they had in both of these companies, and they've divested since then.
And Karen Aziz, head of responsible investments at KLP, stated that the firms were contravening KLP's ethical guidelines. She added that the decision came after failed engagement attempts with the companies to address concerns over their practices.
And KLP's divestment adds momentum to a growing global campaign urging financial institutions to cut ties with firms allegedly complicit in human rights violations, which we see every day happening in Gaza. The move aligns KLP with other major Norwegian institutions, including Norges Bank, that have taken similar steps against companies linked to Israel's occupation in Gaza.
And KLP signaled that more companies could face divestment if found violating its ethical policy. The decision also increases scrutiny on Norway's sovereign wealth fund, which still maintains large stakes in Israeli firms. Both Oshkosh and ThyssenKrupp have yet to respond to the divestment announcement. I think what we're seeing with this is this new trend that the world is finally waking up. Companies are finally waking up and taking responsibility in the best way possible. And I very recently we covered how, you know, the second largest shipping giant in the world, they also announced that they're going to stop supplying Israeli companies that are tied to settlements in Palestine. So I think this is great news.
Yeah, and big giants like this, the biggest pension fund in the world, there was a part of the story that there's Norway's Oslo city is the richest city in the world after Abu Dhabi, and their sovereign wealth fund in Oslo is this biggest sovereign wealth fund.
Do you know how much it's worth?
It's 1.8 trillion, and ADIA, ours is 1.5 trillion. So that's number one, then ADI, and then everyone follows. But city-wise, we have the richest city, Abu Dhabi. Yes, they have like overall sovereign wealth fund goes around now 2 trillion because all the funds since the report came out, all the funds have increased their baseline. So the main thing is that this has put pressure on that sovereign wealth fund also, because those have stakes in other companies which are providing not only military like support, like weapons and everything, other services, service industries like security and this and that. So there's so many cogs in this wheel that you need to look at. And Norway is like setting an example for all the sovereign wealth funds and all the pension funds.
100%.
The main thing is that it's happening. Finally, it's happening. The world is seeing it. The world is responding to the UN report that we referred to. And we will see another report come out. Actually, the 2023 report, they keep updating the companies list. So we have a boycott list in the world. I just realized yesterday that there is a UN list also. I added that in the social media carousel that we made. We'll put the link maybe in this podcast also. The funny thing is that UN itself has a humanitarian violation companies list, and it's not only in Gaza. Wherever there are human rights violations happening, UN itself maintains a list. So I'll give it to the
But
producers
not just
and they'll
the
add
UN.
it.
Honestly,
Yeah.
all you need to do sometimes is just check somebody's LinkedIn. Like
Yeah.
that is as
It's very
simple
clear,
as
right?
it is. And do stay tuned. We have a really special interview coming up. And hi everyone, we're back with another segment with Haidar Nizam, the president of Zoho Corporation of the Middle East and Africa. Thank you so much for being here today. You know, just to start, for those who may not be familiar, can you tell us about the real authentic journey of Zoho?
Yeah, so Zoho is a software service company. We have been in this business for last 29 years, and we are a privately held company. We have 20,000 employees, and we have customers in over 150 countries. We have 120 million registered users. We are doing quite extremely good globally, and this particularly in Middle East Africa region. This is the fastest growing region for us, and we have offices in more than 7 countries. We are expanding, and we are really quite excited about the journey in the Middle East and Africa region.
What I really want to know is, how was the entire company founded? What was the kind of culture that it was born out of?
Yeah, so I think Zoho is quite different from the usual, VC funded and Wall Street companies. So we have our core values and philosophy, and glad part is like being in the business for 20 years. The core values are still intact. We think very long term in terms of our investment, in terms of our partnership, and we invest on our employees. We have the lowest attrition out there in the market. We value the whole customer experience a lot. We want to provide affordable software. We are a very privacy conscious company. So these are the core pillars on top of which the company has been built, and that goes a long way in building and shaping this Zoho's culture. And that's where we are here thriving globally and in this region as well.
And, what I really want to know, why did you guys specifically decide to expand into the Middle East?
This is a very important market for us. One reason that we have been overexposed to the North America market, and we want to really diversify ourselves, and the Middle East and Africa region and India, those are the very upcoming emerging markets. And Middle East has been a very great market for us. 7 years before we started, we have a compound annual growth rate of more than 46%. Year on year, we are growing at 46% consistently in last 7 years. That says that there's a great pull from the market.
Yeah.
And we also have great partnership, great employees here, and very affordable pricing, subsidized pricing for some of the African markets. So all the cards are coming in our favor, and we are doing extremely good here.
You mentioned doing extremely good here. That's amazing to hear. What I want to know is, what were Zoho's first big moves in the Middle East? Can you give me specific examples?
Generally, wherever we want to operate, we have an office. We hire local employees, and beyond that, I think we pick right partners. We strike a very strategic partnership with either government or the business communities, right? In terms of government, right? In Middle East, no, in UAE we have a partnership with Dubai Economy and Tourism, right? Which is part of the Dubai government. We have partnership with the MCIT in Ministry of Communication IT in Saudi. We have some partnership we have recently launched in Bahrain, right? So these are we pick the right partners who align with our philosophy, align with the culture, align with our vision, and then we go all out with that partner.
Just like speaking of growing customer base, in terms of your office spaces in the Middle East and your growing customer base, what does that look like here in the Middle East? Like, what does it really look like?
I think this very the customers are very high demanding customers here, especially Middle East, quite like in India, right, and very price sensitive markets and high touch markets. They want not just the sale to happen, but more of end to end. All the touch points of the customer has to be served. Post sales is very important. After selling the software, you need to really train them, onboard them, making sure the implementation then they use them, right? So all this goes long way in terms of really building that trust, right? And that's why this market is very important for us.
For my next question for you, Zoho has consistently formed strategic alliances in the region. Why is that such an important part of your growth strategy?
No, I think picking the right partner is very important, and that's a very important distribution channel because such strategic partners already have a very good influence in the local market, and it goes long way in terms of establishing our brand, in terms of attesting our brand, and it's not so easy to bring those kind of strategic partners on board unless you share a very common value.
But
Right?
how do these partnerships actually help you deliver more for the customer?
Yes. So I think these partners, let's take Dubai Economy as you mentioned, they already have access to all the business being set up in Dubai. So which means that they say like, okay, use Zoho for all your digital transformation journey. It's pretty easy, right? And similarly, the Ministry of Commerce and IT, every business which starts there in Saudi, they get have an access to the MCIT. So they say like, okay, use Zoho for your digital transformation journey. So it becomes easy sell for us, and the buck doesn't stop there. Just a first step, and after that you need to really make sure that customers are really happy using your product. So it goes a long way in terms of providing that complete solution to the customers.
And now I just want to speak about the Tamkeen partnership.
Oh yeah.
What would you say makes this particular collaboration special from your perspective? Why does it stand out?
This is very important partnership for us entering into the Bahrain market, and we really value this partnership because Tamkeen is, I would say, the driving force for a great ecosystem being built in Bahrain, and they are very keen in terms of enhancing the digital journey of the businesses, especially the SMBs. In Bahrain, the language of Tamkeen is really great. I met the CEO, the leadership team when I was in Bahrain, and they are really committed. They have great intention in terms of making those SMBs very digitally equipped, and they really value this partnership. And we are really glad and happy to have Tamkeen as our strategic partner in Bahrain. And this is just a beginning of a great digital journey in Bahrain as well.
It really is.
It
but
is.
Haider, what I really want to know is that like way of thinking. What culture would you say motivated it? Is it where specifically Zoho was founded? Is it specifically because of its founder and CEO? Can you tell me more about that?
I think it all comes from the top, right? The CEO and co-founder, he stepped down as CEO. He's a chief scientist, Sridhar, and the whole founding team, share a very common philosophy. We come from a very humble background, and they are not chasing over profits. Want to build a very long-term, sustainable company for decades, right? So all this been translated, transformed into the next generation, and that's why even when I want to start a Middle East region, I just pick the right people, right leadership team. That's my first goal, right? Not going and selling to these customers, right? Then you need to put the right team, then things will fall in place, and give the right space to those people at all levels. You need to have a space, from a leadership level to the people who join new to this company, right? So we give that space, and I'm glad that we have been retaining that culture for last 29 years, and we are going strong.
And that humble background that
Right.
you spoke about, can you please tell me more about that? Where you guys were specifically founded? What's something even you yourself personally found so inspiring that made you join Zoho?
Yeah. So I think I know not many software companies been born out of India. India has all along been a service-oriented company. You can see a lot of service companies. Where they provide services, software services. But we took a very bold decision of want to build a product company. We want to build a Microsoft from India. All right. So that's a kind of a vision back in 1996 when we started. It's like so it's always a long-term thinking, and it's doable. No, it's always we felt like okay, can we do competing with Silicon Valley? Oh, yeah, we can be done, right? And from a very humble city like Chennai, not many of you heard about 1996 software company from Chennai, right? We have 18,000 people there sitting in Chennai, happily coding, serving millions of customers worldwide, and we are really proud of what we built.
And for my last question for you, what's next? What is going to be next?
Yeah, so I think we are in a very exciting times. The AI and customers are more aware of software. So which means that people are talking about software getting commoditized and stuff like that. So which means the end-to-end experience matters a lot, right? And the very localized experience, right? Middle East and Africa region, I want to expand in all the countries, but I want to have a very local office, local employees being hired, and locally integrated with local payment gateway vendors to local accounting and whatnot, right? So you provide that localized experience at a very affordable pricing, all right? And as if you are a local company built for the local customers. That's a road ahead for us.
And that is beautiful indeed. Thank you so much for coming today, Haidar. Stay with us. Joining us now is Prem Anand, Associate Director for Strategic Growth at Zoho Middle East and Africa.
Thank you so much for being here today. So just to start, I feel like we've been hearing a lot about this partnership that's been brewing in Bahrain. Can you announce it to the Smash Business viewers?
For sure. We're extremely proud and honored, and it's been going on for a while that we have been talking to a biggest body in Bahrain, which is called Tamkeen, one of the bodies of Economic Development Board in Bahrain. And we are now in a position, and we're extremely happy to announce that we are joining hands with Tamkeen to help all the small and medium businesses in Bahrain, wherein every businesses would be getting access to the technology, world-class technology at their fingertips, wherein every business has now access to this technology, wherein they can grow their businesses, and starting from scratch, we're going to be there, help them to completely customize their businesses with Zoho.
What do you mean by study from scratch? How is that going to happen?
Sure. I think every business will have a challenge wherein as a business owner, they have to focus on how to run their business first, right?
Yeah.
Nobody would be thinking about what technology I should use to run my business. For example, if you sell water bottles, then you should be focusing on where you have to sell it, not about what technology I should use to sell these water bottles. So that is the part wherein we are trying to make a difference. We want to create an impact in the market, saying that, okay, you worry about your business, but you leave the technology to us. So that is when we come as a big technology partner, and joining hands with Tamkeen is extremely a massive initiative, especially for a company like Zoho. That is what we've been trying to do in the market for such a long time.
And, something that I really want to know is, how does this partnership align with Zoho's values of affordability and community? How does it represent that?
Sure. I think Zoho, as a tech company, we come from the background of investing more into the local businesses. What does it mean by is, I think it's there in our DNA. As a company, of course, we are profitable, we are making money, but as a DNA, we just don't want to make money, but we want to create and leave an impact in the market. So that is the core value what we hold. To leave an example, back in 2006, we wrote a privacy law. If you think about that point of time, nobody speaks about privacy, right?
Yeah.
So that is when we wrote the privacy law, and we made sure that we are sticking to that privacy law. And after when the GDPR popped in, a decade ago, we didn't have to do much of paperwork. So that is the core values what we hold. And in fact, if you see how we have gone into the market, mostly it is into the organic way, wherein we invest more into R&D than we invest into marketing. So that is the core values what Zoho holds. And we want to exactly replicate the same thing in Bahrain as well. And that is when we're talking to Tamkeen and the entire values of what Tamkeen holds as well, replicated what we hold. And I think that is the right time when we decided to join hands together.
Can you just develop on that further? I want to know, why did Zoho specifically choose Tamkeen as Bahrain?
Sure. I think Tamkeen is one of the driving forces behind Bahrain's economy. I think it is strategically located in a way that they help the other parts of the Middle East as well. So Tamkeen is doing extraordinarily phenomenal job in the country, and I think this is the right way for us to approach the market. And we're going to be locally presented there as well. So this is the first step we are sticking to the market, and then this is going to be extremely phenomenal for us.
I completely see what you mean. Also, I feel like what we all want to know is how is this partnership really going to technically work?
Yeah.
Can you just tell us that?
For sure. I think I'll split that into three different parts of it. One is about when we talk about the technology, right? Zoho as a company, we have around 45 plus products, which is Zoho One as in one bundle. So that is the deal which we are giving out to the small and medium businesses. That is one part of it. So what that matters is, for example, if you are a company, if you have a valid CR in Bahrain, then you can register to this partnership. What you get is $1,000 from Zoho of the entire technology. And that is you get. And after that, Tamkeen comes into the picture. So Tamkeen also says that, okay, you're giving 1,000, I'm also giving 1,000 to my businesses in Bahrain. So Tamkeen gives $1,000 of support, which means that every business, the first year is covered by Zoho, second year is covered by Tamkeen. And it is not only about the licensing. As I mentioned, any small businesses, using a technology is not a big deal for them, but how to use it, why to use it, and to prolong that matters a lot. So what we do is, after giving the technology to them, we as a company, we go sit with them, understand their business, understand the pain points, what they are, what they're using, how they're using, and then suggest the right apps for them and do the complete onboarding and training. And that support, again, we absorb that. So the companies don't want to pay anything for onboarding, nothing for training. So Zoho absorbs 50% of the cost, and Tamkeen gives 50% of the support to the companies as well, which means that this is the high impact I'm talking about, wherein we really wanted to give something back to the community. And this makes a very big impact. Not only we want to give the softwares, but we invest in human, but we invest in technology, we invest in onboarding, we invest in training.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. And, just as a final question,
Sure.
Are there going to be any future further collaborations in Bahrain?
For sure, we are always looking forward to it. Yeah. And as a company, we value strategic relationship more than anything. And that comes in our DNA. That is the core value and principles what we hold. And anything strategic, we are extremely, we are looking forward to it. And I hope we make some very big impact and difference with this partnership, and looking forward for more as well.
And honestly, I can't wait to see that impact.
For sure.
Thank you so much for being on the Smashy Business Show today. This is Pand Anand for you, the Associate Director of Zoho Middle East and Africa. This is the Smashy Business Show, a Smashy Business production of part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.